Hey guys, how's it going? I'm the Silvered Grunion, and we're going to play Final Fight CD from the infamous Sega CD. Because of course we are. And this game, of course, is included on the Sega CD collection, so made it real easy to decide what to play. Just plug it in, put in a controller, and press start. And that's the way I like my games, nice and easy. So thank you for joining me here as we have a fun time and play Final Fight CD, the near arcade perfect port of Capcom's Furious Fighter, the personification of a furious frenzy, guaranteed to make your friends cry and eat your quarters, at least in the arcade. No quarters here though, we just chunked over $100 to get the Sega Genesis Mini 2, and for me, that was well worth it. For gems just like this. I actually never had this as a kid. I never had Sega CD, and the only experience I had with Final Fight was with the Super Nintendo, and woof. That was no picnic to play. So I'm really glad I got a chance here to try out Final Fight CD, and I can already tell you the graphics are about the same, but the feeling, the controls are just out of this world, completely different. You really get a better sense of movement. You're not like you're underwater. To me, the Super Nintendo version just lagged, and I wasn't a fan. So let's see here if Final Fight CD can change my mind on this franchise. And of course, you know, on our channel here, folks, we don't do history lessons. By the way, shout out Adam, I didn't mean to copy that from you, but no, we don't do history lessons. It's really just a fun time. So thanks a lot for joining me here. We're going to kick back, relax. We're going to talk about wrestling, talk about life. We can talk about whatever you want as I feebly attempt to get through Final Fight. And I'm not going to get far because I am not good at all at these types of games, but we're going to try. This is my first attempt, so I'm not expecting to do very well. So if that bothers you, if you got OCD, ACD, who knows? 1, 2, 3. If you got all those things, maybe you want to look away, because I promise you, I'm not going to show you any techniques. I'm not going to show you any sweet skills. What I am going to show you is how to play a video game that you've never played before in front of a bunch of people and look pretty silly while doing it. But you can ask my prom date from 1997. It's not the first time I've looked silly doing it. I think we all know what I'm talking about. The Macarena. What were you thinking? I don't know. Never knew the lyrics, still don't. But I could dance to it like nobody's business. This was I believe, now, I could be wrong. So let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I know it's weird. I know the internet is not known for criticizing or correcting people, but I'm asking you to. If I'm wrong, let me know. I believe that this was also the first boss in the Super Nintendo version. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, this game will pretty much follow, very closely anyway, the Super Nintendo version, just doing everything a little bit better. Here we go, round 1 clear. Booyah! That's what we do here. We clear a stage and we say booyah. Oh, here we go. The game has lulled us into a false sense of security, and now it's going to turn up the voltage and beat us down like we're Jim Powers on a Monday Nitro. We've got no chance. By the way, I always play as Mike Haggard because he is a professional wrestler, as well as the mayor of the city that he's trying to save. So I admire that. He reminds me a lot of Jesse the Body Ventura, which is funny because the game came out in the early 90s. And Jesse Ventura's career would very closely resemble Mike Haggard. He did get into politics, and he is known as one tough dude. Now, I don't know for sure. I can't verify, but I don't think Jesse the Body Ventura ever went on a subway and just started punching people. But if he did, I'm going to need that footage. Please. Like the sense of speed there in the background. Pretty cool. The train going through different, it's not just one looping animation, it's a couple different things. That's cool. Oh, Andor Jr. You're not fooling anybody with those clothes. That's clearly Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant has been hanging out on this particular subway, waiting for Mike Haggard. Well, Andor, or Andre, whatever you want to call yourself, I'm going to tell you something you've probably heard before. That don't work for me, brother. By the way, I'm making a lot of inside jokes with wrestling, and that's me, so what can you do? Andre the Giant was a famous professional wrestler, in case you're wondering, and I was making a joke about how Hulk Hogan, another famous professional wrestler, would often be known to say, "That don't work for me, brother." Of course, Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant had a momentous matchup in 1987 in front of the largest indoor attendance of the time in Pontiac, Michigan at WrestleMania 3. So there's your, I guess we do history lessons. All right, fair enough. I love wrestling though. Wrestling is it's what I enjoy. I've always enjoyed it. What can I say, folks? Some people like Star Wars, some people like Star Trek. They're pretty much the same thing. But I get a lot of heat for that. I grew up a wrestling fan, so that's one of the reasons I liked Final Fight as a kid, even though I was terrible at it, even though I really couldn't get through. Because again, you play as a professional wrestler. That's kind of cool. It's kind of like a professional wrestling beat-em-up game. Everyone has their own gimmicks. And by that, I mean personas. I don't mean that they're slinging gimmicks on the subway. They could be. They could be selling gimmicks on the subway. I'm not sure. These guys, I don't judge. Well, yeah, I've always thought there was a market for that. Some kind of a side-scrolling wrestling beat-em-up game. And I'm not talking about Betrayal for Game Boy. No. There's going to be one of you that says it. No. I mean like a 16-bit, arcade-style beat-em-up game, but featuring professional wrestlers. I think it would be really, really cool. But this is the closest thing I can think of, is Final Fight. Oh, man. And they have ramped up that difficulty really quickly. I'm noticing. Again, this is an arcade perfect port, and I think the difficulty also might have or maybe I'm just terrible. I was going to say that the difficulty transitioned over, but honestly, maybe I'm just bad. I've never been really good at these types of games. I like them, but I never get too far. So hopefully you guys are having a good night. Hopefully it's the start of a new week at least. So hopefully you can have some fun, and I hope all of you guys are doing fantastic. Thanks a lot for joining me here. I'm looking forward. I got to say this. I'm looking forward to a couple things in the world of wrestling. I know that the AEW Forbidden Door pay-per-view, and by the way, I have not watched AEW in well over a year. I'm aware of it, but I haven't watched. I don't have cable, so it makes it kind of difficult. Maybe they should get a streaming service. Just saying. But no, I'm very excited because they just today announced that Bryan Danielson is going to take on Okada at their upcoming Forbidden Door pay-per-view, which is basically AEW versus New Japan. That's cool. That's a really big match. Especially for, wrestling geeks like myself. But even if you're not a wrestling geek, I really recommend checking out that match when it takes place. It might be the match of the year, if not the decade, if it's done correctly. And speaking of wrestling rings, we're actually in one now. Well, we were briefly facing off against what I consider to be the hardest boss in the game, and that is Katana. Now, I know there's strategies, and I don't remember them, so I'm going to just try to outlast him here. We've lost one life. Let's try not to lose another. Ah, so much for that. Okay. Oh, pile driver. Feel like I'm playing Saturday Night Slam Masters. There's a reference. How come Katana was not in Saturday Night Slam Masters as a hidden boss? There was a wrestling game by Capcom that actually featured Mike Haggard, so would have been a no-brainer. There we go. Round 2 is clear. Ladies and gentlemen, we are doing mediocre, but we're still going. And that's okay. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, that's right. The pay-per-view. Bryan Danielson and Okada is going to be a really good match. They've also announced the rematch between Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. And if you saw Wrestle Kingdom back in January, that was an amazing match. And I'm not one for like spot fests and all that, but this was, it was tremendous. They told a story. So really, I'm looking forward to that. I have not watched AEW, as I said, in over a year, but I think I might have to check out this pay-per-view. I might have to find a way to catch up on my AEW television as well. I stopped watching about a year ago, and they have a great product inside the ring. I guess it got to be too much with the excessive blood and the excessive swearing. I mean, I understand you're going to see those things, but it just got to be a little much. I didn't like they did something with religious iconography, which I disagreed with, and I took a few weeks off from it, and I just didn't really go back. But I do miss it, and I think I'll give it another chance. And speaking of AEW, of course, everyone knows right now the talk of the town is the AEW video game Fight Forever, which finally comes out on June 29th. And it seems like every day we're getting different information. I can barely keep up with it, but every day it seems like they're releasing new footage and announcing new wrestlers and new modes, and that's great. Everyone's comparing it to No Mercy, the game from 1999 or 2000 for the N64. But, the more I see of the footage, I really think it's more or less a new version of Day of Reckoning, which was the wrestling games on the GameCube. And by the way, that's not an insult. Those were some of the best games of that generation. So either way, whether it's No Mercy, whether it's Day of Reckoning, or maybe even the early PlayStation 2 WWE games, I'm looking forward to whatever this game is like. It's going to be great. Finally, we're getting a wrestling game on the Switch. And I mean no disrespect to M. Dickey, by the way, his Wrestling Empire, which by far is the best wrestling game you can possibly get on the Switch. Possibly the best wrestling game you can get anywhere. It's so in-depth, so much fun. And the guy's a genius. So make sure you check that out. Wrestling Empire by M. Dickey. But yes, what I'm saying is I'm hyped up that we're finally getting an actual AAA release, an actual mainstream release, a physical copy of a wrestling game that is not WWE 2K18. That game was terrible. And I don't mean that as an opinion. That's not like, I played it, I didn't like the modes. The game was unplayable. You actually couldn't play it, so no. And of course, WWE Battlegrounds. Was it Battlegrounds? I feel like it was Battlegrounds. That was a fun arcade style game. It was cool. For what I played it pretty much non-stop when it came out, but there wasn't a lot of substance, and it was more arcade than it was wrestling. So we really never had that grappling wrestling engine on the Switch before. So this is great. Of course, it comes out for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, Xbox Series S, X, Xbox One, probably, PC, but I will be getting it on the Switch to take it on the go. Nothing beats playing a wrestling game at work, hiding inside your office, and the boss is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing paperwork," and hoping that door is locked, because if he walks in, he's going to see me in my underwear, playing my Nintendo Switch. Why my underwear? Because it would be weird if I took them off. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to Fight Forever, AEW Fight Forever, on multiple platforms on June 29th. Also excited too, I heard that the Super Mario Brothers movie is coming out on DVD and Blu-ray this month, so that's cool. I did not see it in the theaters. I'm not a theater guy. I don't go out. I try not to. So it'd be kind of cool. I know you can stream it now, but I'd really like to own the physical copy. If you follow my channel or my Instagram or my Facebook, you know I'm all about that physical media. I like to pick up things, hold them in my hands, put them on the shelf, and on a rainy day when you lose internet or something like that, you can just put in the disc, and I love that. So I'll be picking up the Super Mario Brothers movie, checking it out for the first time. I'm not a huge fan of no. Let me start that over. I'm not prone to watching a lot of cartoons or animations, but I'll tell you what turned me around. And I know I'm gonna get flamed. A couple days ago, for the first time, somebody finally convinced me to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which came out, I believe, in 2019. And I had been aware of it, and I had seen snippets, and it looked cool. But I finally got the chance to sit down and actually watch the entire thing. And man, this was not only the best Spider-Man movie I've ever seen, including the Tom Holland films, which are some of my favorite movies of all time. This was not only better than that, but the animation was absolutely flawless. I mean, they used techniques that I'd never seen before, and it was really cool. I used to study animation when I was much younger. I wanted to be a animator. I like to draw, but I don't like to draw on a computer, so I lost a lot of interest when things kind of kicked over to digital and so forth. I like to hand draw things. You know, I'm very meticulous. I enjoy that. That's something that appeals to my nature. I like repetition. So I kind of got out of it. But yeah, when I saw this film, Into the Spider-Verse, I was convinced, you know what, I kind of missed out. I think really there is so much you can do with computers digitally for animation that I never really thought about. I always felt that cartoons that were done with a computer that are not hand-drawn, they lose something. They lose a bit of charm. They lose a bit of that originality, that spontaneity, that feeling that you inevitably get whenever somebody pours their heart and their time and their talent onto a piece of paper, you know, for hours and hours. Into the Spider-Verse might have converted me over. Now I might really be interested in taking a look at what I could do with some computer animations. So that's just something I'm kicking around in the old noggin as I play through Final Fight CD. And by the way, guys, thanks very much. If you're just joining me now, we are playing Final Fight CD on the Sega Genesis Mini 2, but it's from the Sega CD, and it is an arcade-perfect port of potentially a preposterous yet potent poison. I just like saying words. Final Fight CD. That's what we're playing. Thanks for joining me here. We're talking wrestling, we're talking life, we're talking animation, and yeah, I'm glad you're here, so that's cool. Thanks a lot. Take a seat and watch me completely suck at this game, because I am not good. Not good at all. But we're having fun. It's one of those nights where you just kind of want to chill out, maybe pop open a beverage, and I don't mean alcohol, I don't drink, but, you know, open a soda, open a water, maybe some lemonade, put your feet up, look out the window, and play a fun game that's nearly or over 30 years old. That's what 2023 is all about. My friends were like, hey, you want to go out tonight? I'm like, why? And they didn't have an answer, so here I am, staying home, staying chill, and having fun at my will. It's Final Fight CD, and I'm the Silvered Grunion. Yeah, we're going to start doing more videos like this too, folks. Thank you very much for being so patient, especially the past year. I have not uploaded a lot. I've played a lot of games, but I did so kind of at my leisure, and I didn't really include anybody. I was kind of on a journey, which we can go into in another video. But yeah, I think now we're at a point where we can really crank it up. I think we're going to do a lot more videos, God willing, of course, and have some fun. So thanks a lot, guys, for sticking with me. Those of you who have subscribed and stayed subscribed, I appreciate it very much. I think in an upcoming video, we're going to have to do some shout-outs to all my friends here that have stuck with me. Yeah, in fact, we can do it now, too. You know, special shout-out to the Toby Wayne Show. Thank you very much for being subscribed and always leaving such great comments. I love hearing everything you say, and we get to talk some games soon, my friend. We haven't talked in a while. Also like to shout out to the Joypad Lad online gaming store. Another cool guy, always checks out my Twitter, checks out my YouTube. So again, thank you guys so much for being part of my little group here. Whenever I'm talking, of course, I'm talking directly to you guys. So thanks a lot. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want to hear. Hey, let me know whatever's on your mind. You've earned that, right? Leave it in the comments. Let me know. We'll talk about it. It can't be any more painful. I'm not a social guy, but it can't be any more painful than the thrashing I'm getting here in Final Fight CD. I might have to go back to regular wrestling games. At least I'm good at those, to a degree. Can you imagine how many quarters I would have gone through at this point? Whew. Oh, man. Of course. The obligatory elevator stage that every beat-em-up has to have. This might be the first one to do it. I don't know. Maybe they're all copying him, but here we go. I feel like every fighting game, what's the word I'm looking for here? My brain's not working. This elevator level has broken my brain. Every side-scrolling beat-em-up, that's what I wanted to say, has to have the elevator stage where you go up and fight everybody. Streets of Rage, Turtles in Time, of course, Final Fight, and so many more. And they're never easy, but they're never bad. They're just long. They're just kind of there. And we're doing okay, though, here. As long as we don't drop the weapon. Oh, what's coming next? I got anxiety here. What's coming next? Come on. Oh! 3 Elgatos. The knife-wielding, banana-colored outfits that they've got on. These guys are a menace. And I'm going to take them down. Take them down to... I'm not sure. Some kind of town. Ugh. All right, we got another continue. Let's keep going. Is this going to end in some kind of a boss fight? I feel like it is. There he is. Kind of a weird name, but I'm going to call him G.I. Joe, because that's basically what he is. G.I. Joe. Now, there's a franchise that never really got a fair game, which is surprising. They were so big in the 80s and the 90s, but G.I. Joe, I don't remember. I mean, hey, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember G.I. Joe ever having a really popular game. Round 4, try that again. Round 4, clear. Getting all excited here. Getting all flustered. It's like these guys are hitting me so hard in the game, I'm feeling it for real. Punching me right in the mouth. Hey, what can I say? We're live, and when we're live, I'm digging it the most. These bonus stages are kind of a staple of the Capcom games. Hey, we did good there. Punch through a bunch of glass? No problem. You know, we are getting pretty far. I'm pretty sure we only have maybe 2 more levels to go. We might actually, I don't know. Let's see. We might actually do it. Or at least maybe get to the final boss. That'd be cool. I don't think I've ever seen the final boss in Final Fight. And actually there was a Final Fight 2, so even the final boss in Final Fight 1 wouldn't be the final boss because there's a Final Fight 2, which means it wasn't the final fight in Final Fight 1, but it was in case there wasn't a Final Fight 2, but then there was Final Fight Guy and CD. I've gone cross-eyed. It's probably not going to help my gaming here, but maybe it will. Maybe this game is deeper than I thought. 100 years from now, scholars will be writing papers, thesis on the psychology of Final Fight. It's kind of like the Never-Ending Story. That was a movie back in the 80s. And they had a sequel. Like, no. It'd be like WWE putting on the final WrestleMania. And then the next year, just the final WrestleMania 2. Like, no. Yeah, check out the dog. That is always so cool. Always cool to see animals in games. I'm a big animal guy. Love animals. So, that dog's cheering us on. And we're actually doing pretty good. So, thanks a lot, dog. Man, these guys just keep coming. How many could there possibly be? And you know they didn't all come in the same car. That's a pretty big car. Maybe a bus. I could see a bus. A bus of these guys, yeah. Break some barrels. You know, I just noticed. It says soft drink, but I swear, I thought it was steroids. That's probably messed up. It looks like a vial of steroids. Sorry. I thought the worst, and I apologize, okay? I'm getting kind of punchy here. Literally, because I'm getting punched in the face by 2 Andors. Andres. Oh, it's Andor and Andor Jr. Oh, okay, so it's a father and son thing. Okay. A wonderful father and son picnic. Well, Father's Day is coming up, so allow me to give you your present. A tornado punch to the face. Mike Haggard channeling his inner Von Erich with that tornado punch, which actually gives you, I don't think I mentioned it before, actually gives you damage when you connect. I don't get that. I never understood that mechanic in any game, anywhere. Like, what's the point? You're telling me that to use a special move, I've got to take damage myself? Come on. What is this, X-Men? I'm Wolverine, I got my claws out and I can't use them? Come on. It's a beat-em-up game. Let me do whatever attack I can. Clearly, I need all the help I can get. Just let me do the tornado punch without taking damage. Please. But no. I just realized, too, that I have to go to work in about an hour, so this might be the last bit of fun that I have before I go to work and just completely ruin my vibe. But hey, I'll bring my Switch along. It'll be okay. Actually, I just picked up some really cool $5 earbuds from Five Below, so maybe I'll check out some podcasts while I'm at work to try to pass the time. I've been listening a lot to Remember the Game, a fantastic podcast by Canadian comedian Adam Blank, who does a really great job of just capturing the moments and the feels of the games that he's covering. It's not necessarily going into a deep dive about the history, but more like what the games made him feel, either now or back then. It's a great podcast. I recommend it very much. Check out Remember the Game, hosted by comedian Adam Blank. In fact, it is Canada's #1 retro gaming podcast. Not just a slogan, it actually is. So give it a shot. I think you'll like it. I'm going to check out some of his Patreon exclusive content tonight while I'm at work. So I feel better now. Also, the dog is back. Check it out. Everything's coming up Grunion. Also, if you like wrestling podcasts, I really recommend checking out any of the podcasts hosted by Conrad Thompson. If you can get through the ads, and quite frankly, I'll be honest, some of the ads, you could play an entire game, a Final Fight CD, in between the time it takes them to come back to the show. But if you get through that, really the content's fantastic. I love Eric Bischoff's weekly podcast, 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff. Also, like Something to Wrestle with, Bruce Pritchard. And What Happened When with Tony Schiavone. So these are all podcasts you should definitely check out if you're a wrestling fan from the past, present, future, or just a student of the game trying to learn more about why things work and maybe why things don't work. Make sure you check out these podcasts. Hosted by Conrad Thompson. And by the way, I'm not affiliated with any of these people that I'm mentioning. I'm straight up just telling you exactly what I'm going to do when I go to work. I'm going to check out these podcasts because I can't stand going to work and doing nothing, and it's been pretty slow. So to pass the time, it's either that or listen to the radio, and no. I'm going to check out some podcasts. And by the way, check this out. We are fighting in a public restroom. A very public restroom. I don't think I'd be comfortable going with that much openness. I've been expecting a boss fight, like where the guy jumps out of the commode, but not yet. I like to think he's in there though. He's having trouble. Someone got stuck and he can't get out. He's indisposed at the moment. Poop. Gets me every time. I'm not sure if I have another continue, so I'm really hoping that we can get through here, because I just realized now I'm down to my final guy. We have full health, but that doesn't mean much. That will not last long, but we're doing all right so far. This is where it's going to get bad. You guys and your fire. Fire is not a toy. At least the fire damages them as well, which is good. You can kind of use it against them, but I think this is here where our journey is about to end, because, man, look at these guys. They're coming from everywhere. Look out. Sorry I got quiet. I know one more shot and I'm done, so I'm really trying to concentrate here. I walked into it. That was me. Oh, I got one more. Okay, this is it. The last credit. So, I don't think there's a way to get more. Like, you can't put in quarters, obviously. Although, that would have been a kind of a cool addition to the game. I mean, I've already bought the game, so it would be kind of cool. Like, press the mode button for extra credits. Maybe they were worried that back then that the game would be too short or it'd be too easy. I don't know. I don't remember a lot of kids renting Sega CD games. Let me know in the comments if that was a thing. Most places I went to did not rent the Sega CD games. They rented 32X, but they felt that the CD games were a liability, which is kind of funny because a year later they were renting out PlayStation. But Sega CD had the walk so everybody else could run much, much further than the Sega CD walked. All right, get out of this corner. There we go. Suplex City, circa 1993. Dude, they're wrecking me. We were talking earlier about wrestling games and Day of Reckoning. Well, this is the Day of Reckoning right here. These guys are wrecking me. I don't care if it was corny. It's accurate. They're destroying me. All right, let's move on. That guy's name is Doug. I wonder if he has a brother named Dig. I'm sorry. There we go. Got my pipe. That didn't sound right. Got my weapon, my crowbar. I think that's what it is. I thought it was a lead pipe at first, but or no, maybe it was. It was a lead pipe. Doesn't matter. It's gone now. Let's pick up the sword. I think the sword does more damage. If I'm not mistaken, I can't really see, but I just prefer the pipe. It feels like it has a wider range, and I have better success using the pipe. Got the Statue of Liberty in the background. That's kind of cool. Got a boss fight coming up. Oh, Abigail. Okay. Abigail is huge. I think Abigail's a professional wrestler. It's a cross between Adrian Street and Road Warrior Hawk. And those are two tough guys. So this is going to be tough. This might be where our journey ends. I hope not. Want to keep going. Oof. Abigail tosses us across. Oof. Running clothesline there by Abigail. And this is getting ridiculous. There we go. Okay. One more life. That's it. Let's see if we can at least get through the boss fight. Oh, these guys. Oof. Oh, and that's it. Wow, that didn't last long at all. And yeah, we got the continue screen, but there's no way to continue. We're out of credits, so I guess we're going to see what happens here. Well, first we'll enter our initials, GRN for Grunion. And that's the end. It looks like Mike Haggard's days are over, and that's it. Well, guys, hey, thanks a lot for joining me here. I had a lot of fun, so thanks a lot for being here as we played Final Fight CD, talked some wrestling, talked some 80s stuff, talked some 90s stuff. Maybe next time we'll talk some music. Anyways, I got to get ready for work. So thanks a lot for being here, cheering me up, giving me a good night. God bless you, and we'll see you next time.